Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Bad Calls, Balls, and Brawls. Your host, 305 Sports Babe, co-host Miami Lou. And before we begin to anything sports, I gotta tell you, we're like 30 seconds ahead of schedule to the point where.
Oh, you didn't say anything about my hat.
Because
Come on.
you're embarrassing me.
It's springtime.
I didn't even want to. So every show, Lou's constantly running late. This show, I don't know, like he's on time to the point where I was about to push start, and the broadcast actually said, it's actually early to sign on. And I said, yes, start early. That was a wonderful feeling to actually you're really taking this fallback spring ahead. Seriously, aren't you?
The clocks went up and now I'm on the right time. Threw me off there for a while, but I'm back on it now.
No, it's fantastic to be able to start things on time with you. You have a whole new definition of Cuban time. So
that's right.
Whatever time you're on right now, I like it because you're actually early. But anyways, enough about time. We had a kind of like a World Series. It was last night. I felt like it was a World Series plus an Olympics mixed together.
That's a good way to put it,
right?
Yeah.
I just thought of that. So you get the World Series vibe plus the Olympics vibe, and you have a World Baseball Classic. And God,
it's fantastic. It started obviously in 2006.
Yeah.
And so they've had 5 of them. Obviously, the last one didn't take place because of COVID.
Yeah.
So there's been 5 editions. The Japan team has won.
No.
Japanese. I was going to say Japanese have won 3 of them, including last night.
There was 90 million of them last night at Lone Depot Park. How are you going to mess up?
Sorry, I was trying to say Japan and Japanese same time.
Well, it is.
Either way, the Japan national baseball team.
Don't make them into a food team. Next, you're going to say them they're the jalapenos.
They won their 3rd WBC. The Americans won the last one, so they were going for the back-to-back, but that didn't happen.
Yeah.
And the Dominican Republic have the other one. So there's been 5 editions, and those are your winners there.
Yeah. So for those, I mean, you all should know, but last night it was United States versus Japan in the finals, and it came down to the last few teams that were in it were United States, Japan. You had Mexico and Cuba. Then you had Puerto Rico and Venezuela.
Well, the Final 4 was Cuba versus the United States and Mexico and Japan, and really just amazing games. The one leading into the quarterfinal, specifically with the United States and Venezuela, that was an all-time classic. The United States won on a grand slam by Philadelphia Phillies shortstop Trey Turner. He hit a grand slam in the 8th inning, I should say.
Yeah.
And the United States won 9-7, so that was a classic. And then the Japan-Mexico
You're really struggling there. I mean, they just won the World Baseball Classic.
Japan and Mexico was also a tremendous game. Mexico jumped off to a 3-0 lead. Japan came back and tied it. Mexico took the lead again, and then Japan won it in a 3-run double in the 9th. So that was just an amazing set of games there leading up to last night's final.
Definitely. And going into World Baseball Classic, I mean, you asked reporters, you asked baseball scouts, Dominican Republic was favorite to win it. Their lineup, their team from top to bottom on paper is the best team. Everything, of course, I'm going to be biased and say Sandy Alcantara is my favorite player, Cy Young winner. But then you just go down. You have J-Rod, then you have Machado, then you have Juan Soto, and then it just gets deeper and deeper and deeper. So on paper, if you were to look at those guys, those arguably are some of the best guys in the league. Now you take other countries and you take Ohtani, who obviously Japan, then you take like a Trout and stuff, but on paper, Dominican Republic was the best team. And
look, Puerto Rico ended up beating them in the in the group play. They finished the second in that division in that group. Venezuela obviously finished first.
Yep.
But look, Puerto Rico had a stacked team too with Francisco Lindor. You had Kike Hernandez from the Red Sox. A whole bunch of talented guys.
And then you had Edwin Diaz, and I think it's very important to talk about it. I mean, obviously, that was the game where Puerto Rico beat Dominican Republic to knock out the Dominican Republic. And after the game, there was a celebration. I mean, Puerto Rico and DR, I don't say there's tension, but they're 2 rival countries that are very similar, but very, very different.
Very close to each other. They're very close to each other as well. So.
And so after the game, Edwin Diaz, closer for the Mets, they all came to the mound like a typical celebration for anything, and they're jumping up and down, and all of a sudden you see Edwin Diaz goes down and panic starts happening. So they call in the medical staff, and by the looks of it, it looks like he just dropped, almost passed out. But then you see he's grabbing his leg, And we find out that they bring him to the locker room, and then the next day the Mets release a statement saying that he's done for the season.
Yeah, it's a shame. He just signed a major contract, 4
Yeah.
years, and that's tough. Also, Jose Altuve was hit by a pitch against the United States, and he's going to be out 8 to 10 weeks. And look, I know a lot of people are using this as a detracting factor as to why they shouldn't play the WBC, but it just there's so much more positive that came out of this.
Of course.
You look at all these guys. A guy like Trey Turner, we mentioned that home run, the grand slam that he hit. He said in an interview with Alex Rodriguez that was the biggest hit he's ever had. This is a guy that's won a World Series. This is a guy that's played in All-Star games and obviously played in big games down the stretch to get to the World Series. And when you have a guy like that say that his biggest hit in his career is a game that happened during the WBC, that's all you need to know. These guys are going full force to represent their countries, and it's tremendous baseball at its highest peak.
I'll tell you a team who made a mark for themselves, not for necessarily playing, but because they have defaulted jerseys. Oh, Graham happened to be here. Graham, what's going on? Great Britain produced a baseball team that made it to the World Baseball Classic. Now, not every team gets in. France didn't have a team. There's a lot of teams that don't get into this, but our friends from Great Britain got in.
Well, not only did it get in, by finishing fourth, this is the way it works this year. If you finish in the top 4, every group had 5.
Yeah.
If you finish in the top 4, you are automatically invited back to the next edition, which is going to take place in 2026.
Yeah.
So, Graham, Great Britain is going to be back in the WBC. They don't need to qualify.
You're in.
They finished top 4, and all the top 4 teams advanced. They will definitely be there next year. So, congratulations on that, Graham.
But I'll tell you one thing. They need to get better uniforms because it was one of the games. Their pitcher was on the mound, and he went to release the ball, and the tee off a grate fell off. So the tee was on the ground.
Oh.
You didn't see that?
I did not see that.
Oh, my goodness.
I'll have to look at it. I did like, and yeah, I think Graham's saying it.
No, Graham said he likes your hat.
That's mine.
Not their hat.
Okay.
Not the Great Britain's hat. Your hat.
I did like your hat as well. I like your hat. Thank you for my hat. But I like Great Britain's hat. The jersey, not so much, but I like their hat. So there's a lot of cool jerseys. Mexico, I got to tell you, Mexico's was dope. Had some really cool looking jerseys.
Venezuela's was cool.
Venezuela's was nice. The United States classic edition. So look, there's just so many great things. And then it came to a culmination last night in this game, right? We went to the game. They made it into a big deal. If you would have closed your eyes and opened up real quick, you'd think you're at a World Cup in soccer. I mean,
it was amazing.
It was the pageantry with the flags being out. All the flags represented. The trophy is spectacular. The stage that they put in after the game, the way that they had the players come out of the bullpen.
It was so intense.
In single file. Of course, Shohei Ohtani was holding up the Japanese flag. Mike Trout was representing the American flag. Of course, those two are teammates with the Los Angeles Angels.
Yep.
And so they both represented their teams. The teams themselves represented their country so well. And it came to a head in the last inning where, ironically enough, here are the two guys that bring the flags in, and they're going up against each other. It was a
storytell ending.
Yeah.
And for all the people out there who believe in like theories and conspiracies, I'm sure someone said that's a conspiracy, how that ended. But you can't make it up.
You can't make that up.
But you know how people are.
There was a double play before that. Of course,
don't remind me, Mookie Betts.
The Americans could have taken the lead in innings before. They left a bunch of guys on base.
Yeah.
But Ohtani, we were sitting on the third base side, and we were closer to the Japanese dugout, and Ohtani came out to warm up in the bullpen 3 different times. He started to warm up in the 5th inning. Then he had to come back and bat. Then he went back out in the 7th inning. And then, of course, he went out in the 8th getting ready for what turned out to be a closing opportunity, which he did. He shut the door on the Americans. And congratulations to Japan. They are the world champions of the baseball world. And look, Shohei Ohtani.
He put on a show.
They call him Showtani for a reason. He is a tremendous athlete. He's doing something that really only Babe Ruth has done.
Yeah.
This tremendous hitter who's got power, hits for average, and then he can turn around and pitch and shut down a lineup doing it that way. So he was awarded the MVP last night, and
well deserving.
It's an open and shut case. He is the best baseball player in the world. I know that's more of a soccer thing, Messi is the best footballer in the entire world.
Those are big words to say, but he has the stats to prove it. And the fact that he's a solid pitcher and a solid batter.
He does have the stats to prove it, but he doesn't have the winning tradition because the Angels
the
Angels unfortunately can't put together a winning team despite having Ohtani and Trout.
Look at us. The Dolphins have all these great names, and look what we're doing.
They even have Anthony Rondon, who was a big star with the Nationals.
Oh, I love
him.
And
so, they got a lot of talent in that team, but they can't win. But so he now puts this on his resume where he has a world championship that he pretty much led them to. And, geez, it's just he is the best player in the world. I mean, how else can you put it?
So, two things that I liked about the World Baseball the championship last night. When you walked in, they gave us like these bracelets, and
they finally showed off.
Okay, wait, they're right there. Huh. So we went to a few games of the World Baseball Classic, and we didn't really get giveaways because it's really hard to give a giveaway because obviously it's the World Baseball Classic is not with a team, so the marketing gets funny, and then you can't give anything America because that's biased. It has to be like even grounds and all that stuff. So as we walked in, they gave us these things right here. And we're like, okay, cool. And if you expand it like that, it goes on your wrist and you tighten it.
They lit up like this.
I'm trying to say the story. Oh my goodness. So you walk in and so everyone has these things. And me being a geek, I'm thinking, all right, so they're getting our DNA, or Russia or somebody literally paid the MLB to make us wear these bracelets, but no one had an idea of what's going on. So, a few people are like, oh, maybe their lights or whatever. So pregame, nothing's happening. We're just all wearing these bracelets, not knowing what's happening. And then once the game starts, these things start going crazy. The lights start going off, but it wasn't just random colors. So when America went out, they went red, white, blue. Red light, white light, blue light. Then when Japan got announced, red, white, red, white. And then they played music and stuff. And then they were going all different colors. So we thought okay, and then when Japan won, there was celebration colors. So we thought, awesome. And they're not even sponsored by anybody. There's no logo. So it's truly just a thing.
This is what it looked like. So they turned on like this, different colors, green and whatnot. And then this is what it looks like, the signature of it. Signage of it, World Baseball Classic. So, pretty awesome.
Graham said they injected you with 5G. So
very well could have.
So we're leaving, and it was
I'm feeling very radioactive tonight.
I know for you to be on time and everything. So we don't know what's in our blood system right now. So after the game, I figured, okay, whoever's controlling these things,
that's funny, Graham.
They were gonna just shut off once the game's over. Well, we leave the game. It's 11:30. We get home. It's 12 o'clock. These suckers are still going off like crazy. So Lucas puts them in the room, and he was trying to shut them off, and I'm playing with it.
Forget the room. On the way home, we got 4 of them. I put one in my pocket and said, "Oh, I didn't get one," so I got.
There's a little kid who went last.
Excuse me. I got 4 more of them. So then at the end of the night, we're going, and they're so bright that I put them on the dashboard at first, and it looked like I was a police officer. It looked like I was putting on sirens, and I'm like, "Hey, put that thing down." People are thinking I'm trying to pull them over. So. It was a little scary.
So we get home and I'm thinking, all right, they're going to just shut off at midnight. They didn't shut off at midnight. And they pretty much just went throughout the night. And now that they took all our DNA, injected us with 5G, and now we're part of the Russian Confederation, I don't know what they're for, but people have our information. So I like that. The other thing I liked about the World Baseball Classic, and this is not something I usually like, the fans, especially last night. The fans from Japan could not have been classier, more sincere, and die hard.
They were great.
You knew, okay, yeah, you had some Japanese Americans from obviously here, which totally cool, but there were so many that you knew that were not from here that traveled from Japan and from Asia to see their team play internationally. And obviously, it's nothing you book ahead of time because who knew Japan was going to make it? It's kind of like a whirlwind thing. But they were so passionate, so beautiful people. They weren't disrespectful, when someone was up, they wouldn't boo. They love Ohtani. They love their team. Their outfits were wicked. I mean, they all looked adorable. Nice. Yeah. And they were awesome. And I love how they bow and, you congratulate them. And they're just a wonderful culture group of people.
It was really all the teams that competed. We got to see a Dominican team. We saw the Nicaraguan team.
We did.
I saw Venezuela with my dad.
Yep.
So between Puerto Rico, Venezuela, Nicaragua, they were, the fan bases were
Excellent.
Just in full force representing their countries. They brought flags, all kinds of, like I said, pageantry. I got into it a little bit by wearing my Hulk Hogan Hulkamania shirt. There were a lot of people, again, with their flags out, faces painted, making all kinds of sound makers, noise makers.
It was fun.
It was just a lot of fun to see the different atmosphere for all the games. And I really wish that would stick around now that baseball season's starting up and the Marlins could hopefully piggyback off this success in this run and get some of those fans back in the building and bring that kind of energy.
And then last thing I want to say about the World Baseball Classic is I just forgot my thought.
Well, you think about it. I'm going to say what I loved about it. I love the fact that it's 2 weeks, right? It's a tournament. You ramp up to spring training and you get out there. You get your teams, get your teams together, and you just compete and you compete for your country. People are so into it. It's a tremendous event. They're going to stick to doing it every 3 years. So back in 2026. Pretty much Miami is guaranteed a spot. It broke all kinds of records.
Huge.
They had over 500,000.
No problems either. No problems.
Yeah, over 500,000 people over the course of 12 days in that ballpark. So just tremendous success. What were you going to say?
Graham said Japanese people fans are really up there amongst the best in any sport. And that could not be any more true. They're classy, respectful people.
Yes, and what I love about that, just you said it, they're classy, and very mellow. So the American, and I'm guilty.
We're rowdy.
I'm just as guilty. I'm out there and I'm supporting my team, and I'm going to be loud and scream. I'm not going to say anything derogatory or curse in front of kids or something like that. But I am going to be loud about it, and I am going to slam the chair in front of me.
They don't do any of that.
They're just calm, cool, and collected. They cheer their team on. Whether they're winning or losing, they cheer their team on. It was great to watch that.
Beautiful smiles. They're so stinking adorable. But the one thing, because we already spent half the show talking about baseball, what I really liked about the game, the whole World Baseball Classic, is that it was pure baseball in the sense that obviously we know going into the season, the rules have changed. We have ghost runners, we have bigger bases, we have a pitch clock. The World Baseball Classic kept in its integrity, and that is regular baseball. Some games went 3.5, 4 hours. And you know what? I was okay with that. I wasn't looking for nothing. I wasn't looking for a pitch clock. I wasn't thinking, oh my goodness, I have work tomorrow. Will this game end? It was good baseball and pure baseball.
Well, you didn't see a ghost runner because it never got to the 10th inning.
But there wasn't going to be.
Yes, there is. Yes, there was.
Well,
the ghost runner was put in the rules. And I got news for you. You mentioned that you liked that all those things weren't part of it. But I'm telling you right now, because this was the first year that it was implemented in MLB, and MLB runs the WBC, so I can guarantee you that in 2026, those rules will be in place and that the game will be a little quicker. But by that point, everybody will have adjusted and be used to it.
Graham says, Graham has a statement coming directly from the UK about America, not about Trump, America in general. I don't think this applies to Trump. I think it applies to just Americans. I think you're all passionate rather than rowdy.
Wow.
Graham, sit next to Lou in a game and you'll think completely different.
Yeah, and if you sit next to Bills fans or Patriots fans, then you're going to really see some
But let Graham have his pure thoughts about us.
Yeah.
Anyways, but no, World Baseball Classic was great.
Yeah, it's good. The only thing that I would kind of change, but I guess I wouldn't, is the fact that baseball is a marathon, right? Not a sprint. So it's a reason why there's 7-game series. You play so many games. In the WBC, you can't do that. You can't have like a 3-game series. But gosh, I would have loved to have seen 2 more games, between the Americans and the Japanese.
Why can't you say that?
Because it was great. It was a great game last night. I know not a lot of scoring, which a lot of people were looking forward to, but it was a very well played, close game. A lot of strategy that went into it. And I would love to see a best of 3 series. But look, it's
let it be. Nothing's broken.
The fact that it's 1 game and it's winner take all and it's for all the marbles. I love it. It's tremendous.
If it's not broken, don't fix it.
I can't wait for it to come back.
Talking about things that are coming back. Graham's birthday's coming up next week. Shout out, happy early birthday.
Happy early birthday.
21 is going to be.
21, that's right.
We're sticking to it.
And as part of the gift, again, Great Britain has qualified for the 2026 WBC. So congratulations, Graham. Happy birthday, early birthday.
Let's stick to the subject of March. So obviously we had St. Patrick's Day. Came and went. Lou worked. I worked. And we didn't do anything, but that's okay. So I hope you guys all had a wonderful St. Patrick's Day. But March Madness. Talk about madness. Oh, no. I had to say one more thing about the World Baseball Classic. One more thing. I share a story. Sorry. My grandma loves sports, right? My grandma's 81 years old. She's going to be 81 next month. And she was a big sporty spice, and then she kind of lost track. So whenever we're at a game, she likes, especially that she's able to be televised in New Jersey, she likes to know about it. So if the Dolphins are playing the Jets, she likes to watch it on TV. if the Marlins are playing the Mets, or if it's a national game and we're there, she likes to watch it. So
Right.
my grandma, I told her, Non, put on the TV, USA, we're going to be there. So she talks to her little Alexa, put on Fox Sports 1. And I told you for that game, I said, my grandma is going to stay up and watch this whole entire game. So Non calls me today.
She stayed up to 11 o'clock?
She
Wow.
watched it till the bottom of the 8th inning.
Oh, okay.
And listen what happened. She was all into it. She told me the players that she likes, this and that. She's at the bottom of the 8th inning. It says, "Are you still watching?" You know, if your TV sometimes, if you don't push anything like your sound or anything, it says, "Are you still watching?" And you're supposed to say yes, because if not, it'll go into sleep mode.
Okay.
Non didn't know how to change it from yes, I'm still watching. So she pushes the restart button, it shuts it off, and then she forgets what channel it's on, and she misses the end of the game. She was devastated. She was wide awake. She missed the end of the game.
Wow.
So she had to ask her bus driver, she was going to daycare today, to look up the score. And I had to tell her exactly what happened, but she was so invested.
Wow. Okay. That's nice. Good to hear.
Sandy, hi guys. Sandy,
Hey,
your
Sandy.
hair looks amazing.
Love that. That was
Talk
awesome.
about hair. Something you don't have,
I
but
know.
Sandy has.
I got a beard, though. I got a beard, so.
Also, today is the first. This is the first time I'm here on the podcast, and I'm still on the same day as you. Oh,
Wow.
such a funny.
That's interesting.
Well, happy Wednesday, Graham.
Yeah, well, so that kind of happened last night as well. When the WC first pitch was
WBC.
what I say?
WC.
Oh, the
World Confederation. What are you talking about?
The WBC last night when it first pitched was 7:20ish around there, and it was like 8:30 in the morning in Japan.
Yeah.
So talk about waking up to a monster sporting event. Yeah, so that's a big time difference as well.
Sandy's coming down here next Thursday.
Awesome.
She's going on her cruise, Dolphins
Okay.
cruise, that we should be on.
Where does that leave out? Does it leave out of
Miami.
Oh,
Yeah,
Miami.
the port of
Okay,
Miami.
awesome. I wasn't sure what's going
Sandy,
on there.
so our backyard, we have like a view of it. I'll be on my deck like waving to you, Sandy. So
No, we'll go by the causeway en route for.
okay, we're gonna come see you
We'll
next
come
week.
wait from the
Next
causeway.
Thursday. That could work though.
Yeah, let's see. If we can,
We're gonna see you on the Causeway next week.
Yes.
So hold that
absolutely.
thought. But Madness. So March Madness has started. Obviously started. We're in the heart of it right now. We're down to the Sweet 16. Lou's team, man. I don't even want to get him started.
Yeah.
Let's not even get him started. But Arizona. No, I want to mention it. Arizona lost to Princeton. Number 2 Arizona lost to number 16 Princeton. 15.
Yep.
I don't make it worse. And it was bad. Like,
it was bad. Yeah, I mean,
so many people, including Lou, including half the world, had Arizona in the Final Four, and then half those people had them win it. Arizona's a great, great team, and for them to be knocked out by Princeton, which half the people in this world don't even know that Princeton's in New Jersey.
No, people do know that. It's an Ivy League school.
It
People know
is,
that.
but the people know of Princeton. They don't necessarily know where it's at. Same with like a Stanford. Maybe they don't know where Stanford's at, but they know of Stanford. Crazy. So I couldn't even face this man when he came home last week because I knew that it was going to be bad. So we ended up going to a Heat game, which was our Heat event, which was a good deflect.
Yeah.
But that's not the only crazy thing that happened. Furman goes and beats Virginia, which is not as crazy as the Arizona thing, but still crazy. Then you have Fairleigh Dickinson, another school that no one knows about, that I know about because it's in Jersey. They end up winning.
Well, that was the biggest one. Fairleigh Dickinson is a 16 seed, and they beat the number 1 seed Purdue. And that's only happened twice. It happened to Virginia, ironically enough, who also got upset.
Yeah.
And then now. So, it's a crazy situation there. But look, whoever has a bracket that's like somewhat decent, kudos to you because
no one does. There's nobody. There's nobody.
And look, we had a great show last week with Joey Rodriguez. He gave us his picks, and his champion is out with Marquette. He had some other good picks. Some of them came to fruition.
He had Virginia Commonwealth. They got knocked out. Then he had UCLA upset.
But again, everybody had bad picks. So Warren Buffett, who's one of the biggest billionaires in this country, one of the richest guys in America, he puts up $1 million of his own money every year, which isn't really that much to him. But
it's like $10 to him.
He puts it up every year, thinking that whoever can get this perfect bracket. Of course, nobody does it, and most of the time they're out after day 1. So this is the hardest thing to predict.
So Warren, you're holding your money because this year has been crazy. I told myself
out of control.
Next year and the years moving forward that I will continue to do a bracket. I refuse to sit there and strategically think this team's going to beat this team because you know what? At the end of the day, anything can happen. So I'm not putting my head in heart to it. However, I take that back because this week, huge news happened. Huge. I need fireworks. Do we have like a firework effect or something? Can I have like drums? Give me something.
What are you talking about?
Rick Pitino,
Oh, okay.
St. John's, welcome home, Daddy Rick. Welcome to Queens. We are so excited to have you. So when I tell you next year, I'm not going to strategically do my bracket. I don't care about all the other things. I'm having St. John's in the Final Four, if not the championship. That's the only one I care about.
I think you should. First of all, is your head feeling okay? Look,
super big signing for my alma mater.
It is a tremendous, achievement for them to bring Rick Pitino to New York. Rick Pitino coached with the Knicks.
Yeah.
He's also coached at Providence, which is also in the Big East.
Kentucky.
He's coached at Kentucky and Louisville. He's won national championship at Kentucky and Louisville. He's taken both Kentucky, Louisville, and Providence to the Final Four. Probably soon to be St. John's.
Love it.
I wouldn't bet against them, but by saying it's going to happen next year, let's calm down, okay? St. John's hasn't done anything in decades, and they are way behind the ball now. With people entering the port,
sounds like a hater.
Some people being able to enter the portal transfer,
they're knocking down the walls.
You're able to get talent into your university, but it's not the same as a guy. Remember, recruiting has already taken place.
Oh yeah,
so it's not just like he's going to go out all of a sudden now and start selling the program. It's going to take a year or two, or even more.
Totally disagree with you.
He signed for 6 years. He's going to make a big difference, and he's going to make an impact.
It's not going to take a year or two, Lou.
He's not going to the Final Four next year.
He might not go to the Final Four next year, but I'm telling you, it's not going to take a year or two for people to start transferring to St. John's. Will not happen. That I promise you right now.
I'm saying that he will get people to transfer to St. John's, but he has to have a recruiting class under his belt in order to get those other people in. So it's going to be a while. I'm sorry, they're not going to the Final Four next year. No offense, but they're not.
Disagree. Well, I'll tell you.
Let's talk about our Final Four.
Wait. Before you talk about that, let's go back to the Sweet 16 now. Let's bring it back home. I'm leaving New York. New York. Bring it back home. Canes, men and women, are in the Sweet 16. What I found ironic is both the men's and women's team beat the same men and women's team of another college. Like, that does not happen. How the brackets are same college. Yeah. So basically, Hoosier Daddy, men's, women, Canes beat the men's and women's Canes of Hoosierville.
That's right. So on Sunday, Isaiah Wong had a huge. Isaiah Wong, I love that name. He had a huge game for the Canes.
Yeah.
And Coach Larinaga has the Canes back in the Sweet 16. They were there last year. They actually got to the Elite Eight before losing to Kansas, but they're back in the Sweet 16. That happened on Sunday night against Indiana, but that game was in Albany, New York.
Yeah.
Because the NCAA tournament is exclusively neutral.
Of course.
However, the women's bracket, they do it a little differently. If you're number one seed, you get to host that region. Yeah. So the Canes women's team, the Lady Canes, had to go to Bloomington, Indiana.
Yeah.
And they were the 9th seed. They beat the number one seeded Indiana Hoosiers at their place, which is a tremendous accomplishment.
Yeah. Talk about home court advantage.
Yeah. So Destiny Harden had the last game-winning basket. That held up. They had one more chance, Indiana did, and they weren't able to get a shot off.
That was it.
So, Katie Meyer, she leads the Canes back to the Sweet 16. First time since, get this, 1992, which I know Graham and Sandy are in the room. That was actually the last time the Dolphins were in the AFC Championship game. So it's been a while, in other words. That's why I'm wearing my Hurricane hat. Back-to-back nights, Sunday and Monday, both the men's and women's team advanced to the Sweet 16 against Indiana. Tremendous accomplishment for the program.
Yeah, no, they both have really tough games coming up this week. I can tell you right now that our men's team plays the number one Houston. Houston is the most favored team next to Alabama to win this all, and Alabama and Houston are still in it. It's going to be a big, big test for our Canes to play against Houston, but anything's possible.
So the Canes are playing. That game's going to be played in Kansas City on Friday. They're both playing on Friday night, but the Canes are playing in Kansas City on Friday, and the women are also playing Friday. They're playing against Villanova. But look, the women's team just beat the number one seed, so why can't the men do it, right? Beat down those Cougars, go Hurricanes, and it's a tremendous time to be a South Florida sports fan if you love college basketball.
So the other thing was Final Four. I had Marquette going all the way. Obviously, that didn't work out well. But I also,
Well, I'm going to rip off my bracket next week because I just did horrible. But here are your picks and here are my picks. You want to say who you got left?
I know who I have. I had Alabama, Houston, and Gonzaga, and Marquette. I don't have to look at that.
So Marquette is out. I also had Marquette. That is my lone team that's out. No, sorry, I had two. Arizona obviously is out as well. But I still have Houston and UCLA. I know. Listen, at least we both have our champions still alive. You picked Gonzaga to win it all. I picked UCLA, and ironically enough, they are playing each other tomorrow night. So these are the games tomorrow night. We got number 7 Michigan State versus number 3 Kansas State. Number 8, Arkansas versus number 4, UConn. Number 9, Florida Atlantic, the local team, who had a big upset over Memphis and then beat Fairleigh Dickinson. I like to call them Fairly Ridiculous, but they beat them in the sweep to get to the Sweet 16. They're playing Tennessee, and then, as mentioned, Gonzaga, the number 3 seed, is going against number 2 UCLA. And I'm going to say something right now. The winner, not that I've been right before, but I really believe this. The winner of that game, I think, is going to win it all. That's my prediction. I think whoever wins that game between Gonzaga and UCLA will win it all.
I can see it.
So, and then Friday, really quick, San Diego State versus Alabama. Of course, the Hurricanes taking on the Houston Cougars. Princeton as a 15 seed. They had obviously a couple big upsets. They will be playing Creighton, another Big East school. And Xavier, number 3, is facing number 2 Texas. So a lot of good basketball coming up Thursday, Friday, and then the Elite Eight on Saturday and Sunday.
Yes, so we'll see. I can't imagine anyone's bracket getting more busted, but if anything's possible. Another news is Dolphins. Obviously, we had some really big things happen in the beginning of March. Jalen Ramsey still is my top big thing that happened. And then this week, some bad things happened. Yep. Gesicki, to the Patriots. Oh. What in the Lord's name? Really? Man, go anywhere else but the Patriots. So that was a stinger. I know a lot of people on our fan base love Gesicki. To see him go first was a stinger, and then to see him go to the Patriots was a double stinger. So we just got stung by a wasp at this point. That hurt.
He wasn't the only guy that defected to a rival team.
And then you got Thomas Morstead, our punter.
And he had a great year last year, by the way.
He did.
He did really well
and
last year.
And then he gets traded to the Jets. And then this guy on social media.
He signed. He didn't get traded.
He signed. I apologize. Got signed to the Jets. Whatever. Packed your bags and went to New York, New Jersey, whatever you did. You left Miami to go to the Jets. And you know what happens? Even though I just made a whole big thing about the Gesicki thing, it happens. But this guy goes on his social media and wears all green. Okay, I understand the Jets are green. He did it on St. Patrick's Day and was so excited to be part of the Jet organization. Well, toodles, if that's how you feel. Because here's the thing. When people leave organizations, 9 out of 10 times they write a beautiful thing about how they appreciate the time.
I think he did.
He did not.
You got to look at it. I think he did. He is a guy that's really good with the community. He's from New Orleans. He played with the Saints for many, many years. He raised a lot of money for hurricane efforts. By all accounts, a really good guy, funny guy. So I think he did. I think he did write something to the fans.
Sandy, I did. As soon as it happened, I didn't even text Lou. I texted my boss, and then I text her, and I'm like, "Are you okay?" And she was like, "Ah." So it'd be a good thing for us to check on her again because that is a dagger to her.
Somebody should have. I don't check on me. I didn't look. Gesicki was.
She's obsessed with him.
I understand, but Gesicki is who he is. I wouldn't have paid him crazy money to keep him here. Plus, we didn't use him. Maybe we didn't use him the right way or whatever. It's obvious that Mike McDaniel didn't have him in his plans and was prepared to move on without, having a big tight end target. Yeah. But I will say this though, I don't like the fact they went to New England, obviously. But man, somebody should have warned me. You want to talk about wearing colors? He was wearing the biggest Patriot logo on his chest that I've ever seen when he signed his contract. And I don't know where I saw it, but when I saw it, I immediately had to pull over and almost want to throw up on the floor because that was gross to watch. I wasn't the biggest Gesicki fan, but no one wants to see our former players in Patriot gear like that.
He went to the Jets as he wants to be on the field more. No, and these players that are leaving the Dolphins organization, they most likely will get more playing time. And then the one who came back to Miami that we have to mention before we move on, Braxton Berrios. Shout out to the U. Come back home, baby. So excited to have you. We've missed you. And, we, as in the Miami community, you are very loved among Canes fans. So to have him back is amazing.
Super popular Miami Hurricane player. And look, with the Jets, the guy returned punts and was successful. He had a couple touchdowns in his time with the Jets. He's a good receiver out of the slot. He's a guy that is going to be a good option for Tua.
Yeah, no. So I wrote this thing last week that I just feel that in this offseason, the Dolphins, the Patriots, and the Jets are just breeding and trading within. They don't realize that there's 29 other teams in the league, that all these moves are happening with a good thing Jalen Ramsey came from the West Coast because everything is just, this Dolphin went to the Jets. Oh, this Patriot came to Miami. So guys, look outside the AFC. There's a lot of talent because it's getting kind of funky.
Yeah, well, the Dolphins, we just talked about the lost Morstead, but I believe, I don't know, I forget his name now, but we did sign the Jets punter, so it's almost like we traded punters, even though it was signings. Also, we got the Jets backup quarterback, Mike White is
Yep.
coming to town. And then a little bit more insight on the Ramsey signing. I did read a story that Ramsey pretty much told his agent that he was not going to play anywhere but Miami.
Good.
So he went to the Rams and said, look, I'm on the books for a lot of money, and I know you want to get rid of me because you're in a rebuild, but I am not going to accept a trade anywhere but Miami.
Yeah.
So that is why the package back to them was so low. I mean, Hunter Long in a third-round pick, I would have given that up 4 times over
Exactly.
for a guy like Ramsey. So that was a
Ramsey's AFC East is like a big swingers party. Oh, this inter-team swapping. Absolutely. It's funky.
That's what it feels like.
One thing about Jalen Ramsey that I told you and you said no, but sure enough, someone reached out to me and let me know. Jalen Ramsey and I, along with Rafael Devers and I, my favorite Red Sox player, we all share the same birthday.
Oh, nice.
So Jalen Ramsey's birthday is 10/24.
I thought it was 10/23.
It's not. I'm not going to check it out, but I'm 1,000% sure. I looked it up.
All right.
So Jalen, double birthday party this year since we both are turning 27, right?
Nice.
Whatever it is.
Look, they also signed Malik Reed from the Steelers. Linebacker. That's big. We had a lot of linebacker issues last year. That's going to be another guy that could step in, add some more depth to the linebacking core. We re-signed River Craycraft, a favorite of the team. You mentioned Braxton Berrios was a straight-up signing. We re-signed Nick Needham. Our secondary was pulverized last year, so Nick Needham coming back is a big deal. And then this is a guy that I love. He was hurt at the start of last year, finally got healthy, but it might have been a little bit too late. He missed a lot of training camp. Andrew Van Ginkel.
Yeah, yes, I'd heard about that.
His first couple of years here, he was a big playmaker, and a big leader. People love playing alongside him. So Van Ginkel coming back, being healthy, and having a whole year to get ready for the season, I love that sign.
You know what? It came to thought. Sandy says next Thursday. We're not going to be around next Thursday. Opening day Marlins. Sandy, when you said that, I stuttered and I'm like, yes, because that's the day Marlins have their opener against the Mets. So if you, depending what, we'd love for you to come to the Marlins opener, but that is the day that Marlins
she's getting on a cruise, but no, we'll see if we can get together before you get off the cruise. We'll make it happen.
Graham, Fangio.
Absolutely.
Still our best defensive signing. So a lot of moves with the Dolphins. It's been a really fun offseason because you figure last offseason what we dealt with Brian Flores being fired and then a Tyreek Hill pretty much heart attack that he gave us. And then that was pretty much it. The other things happened, but those were the two fire head coach and then Tyreek Hill. This has been a lot of coolness.
Well, but look, getting a guy like Fangio, Graham just talked about, I mean, that's huge. I mean, you got a guy that is respected and won and had success everywhere he's been as a defensive coordinator, not so much as a head coach in Denver, but he's had great system players. He's come in and transformed. It's to the point where other teams see what he's done and they try to copy it. So him having all these weapons now, having Jalen Phillips going for his third year, getting Jalen Ramsey as a playmaker. It's just going to be exciting to watch Fangio coach these guys and work our defense to a top 10 defensive unit.
Definitely. And last but not least, Miami Heat. We got a big one tonight. We played New York Knicks. We're 0-2 with them this season. We haven't beat them at all. They come here to Miami, be a tough match. Then on Saturday, we played the Brooklyn Nets. It's also UD honoration. I don't know what that word is. We're honoring the GOAT UD on Saturday. So beyond just honoring him, really tough against the Knicks, then the Nets, and we're pretty much battling for a playoff spot position at this point. We're not the same team as we were last year. I talk about it every week, and the more and more the season progresses and starts to end, it's apparent. I don't know what's going to happen in the offseason. I have some ideas myself. Obviously, I don't know if Kyle Lowry really is the answer anymore up top. Obviously, Bam Adebayo is not going to go anywhere. Jimmy Butler is not going to go anywhere. I think we're still going to continue to develop Tyler Hero, but people like a Duncan Robinson, a Strus, they might be some fat cut off the meat. And I mean that very respectfully because they are arguably two of my favorite players on the team. But something needs to happen to get that missing piece get us a team that we need to be.
Yeah, they just need some better consistency. They have a good amount of players to select from. They just got to find a way to excel in when they step on the court and how they mix with that rotation that's Post throwing out there because they just have not found that this year. It's been so up and down. They win 3 in a row, they lose 4 in a row, they win 2, they lose 2. It's just been all over the place. And, so It's going to be tough for them to make a run like they did last year, but it starts with getting into the actual physical playoffs. You don't want to mess around with this play-in game.
No,
And then on top of that, and I mentioned it before, look, I know we got Eagles and Philly, guys listening to the show. The Philadelphia 76ers have not had success in the playoffs. It's a fact.
True.
The Boston Celtics were just in the finals last year. Giannis and the Bucks won a championship a couple years back.
Yeah.
The Sixers have struggled. They have not been able to get out of the second round. So it's important to try and match up with them, and at least you beat them last year. They're struggling to get out of that round. That's the team you want to play.
I agree. So I just hope that the next few games that we finish out strong.
It starts tonight, and in that game Saturday night against Brooklyn, who is directly in front of us, that is a must-win game. If they don't win that game, it's almost like 2 losses because they'll obviously not get a chance to move up, and they'll fall one back.
Yeah.
So at that point, I think there's like 9 games left.
So crazy about
it'll be very tough to catch Brooklyn if they don't win Saturday night.
And then just in closing, we went to a Heat event last week. It was like Miami Heat season ticket appreciation night. It actually could not have ended up being on a better night because literally it started at 6:30, and at 6:35 is when Arizona lost to Princeton. So it was really good deflect for him not to think about that. We ended up meeting Kevin Love, and
it was awesome.
Kevin Love was one of those players where I'm not completely sold on him yet, but I will tell you one thing. After meeting him, he could not have been a more classy guy.
What are you not sold on? He's a guy that's had a tremendous career.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Okay.
He's a guy that's he's had a tremendous career, and he's 35 years old.
He's not 35 at all.
He's 34, going on 35 next season.
Okay,
he's at the end of his career. What more do you want out of the guy? You can't be sold on him. He's a tremendous player.
Is he going to get us to the playoffs?
It's not on him. He's a role player. He was signed to be a role player.
At this point of the season, I need names and big moves.
But he wasn't brought here for that. He was here to try to get the rotation, to a little bit more consistency. That's all. He's not a guy that's going to put us over the edge. But I wouldn't say that you're not set on him. The guy's a champion, a multi-time All-Star. I mean, he's a great player who's towards the back end of his career. And by the way, you the first thing you were speaking about, a tremendous guy. I mean, we spoke to him. He spoke to a lot of people or our friends that were there. He's a really cool guy. I mean, he was very affable and nice in all his in exchanges with people. So he was a good guy.
Gotcha. So yeah, the event was great. And so yeah, anything else?
Well, the Panthers, they lost to the Flyers last night, but they are on Monday. They did beat the Detroit Red Wings, and so they are now in the last spot. They have 11 games left, and they are currently in the last wild card spot. So it'll be a fight, but it's they're a team that was the number 1 team overall in the NHL last year. So they're expected to at least get back to the playoffs. So let's hope that they can do that.
Definitely. All right, guys. Well, best of luck to Lady Canes, Men Canes, then Sweet 16 this week. Spring training's wrapping up, so I hope everyone finishes healthy and has a great start to the season. Again, Marlins open up next Thursday against New York Mets. First pitch is at 4:10 p.m. at Lone Depot Park, with obviously Sandy Alcantara starting, and
getting his award too.
And it's his award as well, so that'll be great to go to. Lone Depot Park will have plenty of tickets available. It will not be the World Baseball Classic 5, but they do get a good crowd opening day, especially with the Mets. Mets will bring a big crowd as well. So, Sandy, and for all the other Dolphin fans in town, if you don't have plans next Thursday, Friday, Saturday, highly recommend come to Lone Depot Park and check out a game. On Friday, it's actually Teal Fridays, where the Throwbacks Fridays. And it'd be awesome to have you guys at Lone Depot Park. So come out if you can and cheer on our Marlins.
Yeah, we'll try to, since baseball does start officially next week, I know we wrapped up. It's almost like somebody said that, and I know you love NASCAR, so somebody said that having the WBC to start off to kind of kick off baseball season. 5. They compared it to NASCAR.
Daytona. It's like a Daytona
exactly. So the biggest race of the Daytona is the 500, right?
Yeah.
Or NASCAR.
Followed by Talladega and stuff.
Correct, but they start with their Super Bowl, if you will, with their first race. And so a lot of people are saying that the baseball did the same thing. They started with WBC, and it leads into the season. So I like the comparison. But yeah, when the season started next week's show will probably try to
heavy on baseball. It'll be heavy baseball, unless the Dolphins keep pulling rabbit tricks out of their high knee.
Which I wouldn't be shocked.
And then the only thing is, with obviously starting World Baseball Classic, we have 2 All-Stars obviously missing half the season and all the season. Edwin Diaz, and you have Altuve. So it's kind of like Daytona. If a racer, that's always the big thing. Graham, I'll be back to 5 hours ahead of you again as of this weekend, but enjoy the couple of weeks and not being too late for me. Amazing that we can accommodate you.
Always.
Well, I'm so glad to be on the same day as you, at least. Sheldon, you're late for the party. We're wrapping it up, man.
Started a little early tonight.
We had to because we have the Heat versus Heat versus Knicks tonight. So we're just wrapping it up. Big game for our Heat. And spoke about World Baseball Classic and some crazy big upsets with March Madness. But we will be back next week. Not on Thursday. And probably
Thursday because of the game.
Thursday's the game. I have the same hat. And Sheldon, I promise you 1,000 million times it looks so much better on you than on him. Sheldon, I have a picture of you with that hat. It looks amazing on you. He looks so silly with it. I thought it was starting at 8. No, usually the show would start at 8, but with the Heat game going on, they just started. We pushed it up to 7. But don't worry, you don't get the late you don't get detention for being late to class. We'll let you go this time. You get a warning, but don't be late next week. But no, it's just because there's a really big Heat game tonight that we want to catch, and obviously prepare ourselves for the next 4 days with March Madness. We just start a little early, and you guys know when Baby Huey here doesn't eat dinner, he starts staying food junctions, like if it's not KFC Kansas City or the Baltimore Raisins pretty soon. he couldn't even say Japanese earlier in the show. He's going to call them the jalapenos. So you guys know. Sandy has the same hat also. All right, we have to get Graham the hat then. So we all have to wear this hat.
We got to get you a hat, Graham.
We have to. He looks so adorable with it.
Nice.
Anyways, guys, we're going to wrap it up tonight. Go Heat. Go Canes. Ladies and men on Friday. Big games. Women against Villanova. Men against, I was going to say Houston.
The Cougars.
And Sandy, safe travels down to the 305. Obviously, we're here if you need anything.
Sandy's got the big crew. She's going with who's going to be on there?
Everybody and their mothers.
Dan Marino, Larry Zonka. I think everybody's going to be on that ship.
Sandy, if you need somebody to watch Shula, please let me know.
Yes. We will take.
I'm not talking Don Shula. I'm talking to your puppy. Or if you need somebody to watch Jerry too, I also watch Partners as well. Partners and Puppies. So anyway, safe travels down here, guys. Have a great weekend. Go Canes. Go spring training.
Do we have any holidays coming up? No.
Easter's
coming up, right? And it's Cinco de Mayo, another favorite of mine. But that's down the road. Sorry.
Are you going to start saying on 4th of July and Halloween?
No, because it's spring. It just started spring, like officially got going. So, we got to.
Easter's in 2 weeks. Good Friday and Easter.
There you go. Okay. All right. Well, that's what we have to look forward to.
Gotcha. All right, guys. Catch you later.
Hope you guys have a good rest of the week and a great weekend ahead. And all the best. Take care.
Peace.